Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evans. Good to be back with y'all today. Good to see you, Break. Good to see you, Brayhard. Good to see you, Bob. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. Lost my ability to speak there for a moment. That was weird. Anyway, good to see y'all. And Catholic Brick, congratulations on winning the crown of Firstendom this day. You win the crown of Opera. Suppose this means the crown's going to keep singing. We'll sing all day. And Beer Fox, hello. Bob, you dab and you want to go to confession? I don't know why. That's not a sin. Unless you're Gale. Gale thinks it's a sin, but you know what? Roxy, you lost your internet points. That's a horrifying and accurate way to describe it. Anyway, we're going to be diving into Minecraft. We're working on the Opera House. I think we can finish it. Father, why? Because it's funny. Hey, Step Zero. That reminds me of a question I was asked the other day and do not know the answer. Okay. Need to reset my controls first. I was doing some auto fishing to repair this pickaxe. So you can see I have a lot of stuff in my inventory. I made a lot of white concrete. I got some quartz, and there's more quartz at the base. This is not all of it. Blessings can be done remote. See indulgence during papal announcement. Why does confession need to be in person? So there is a difference because one is a blessing, the other is a sacrament. And in order for a sacrament, you need the matter and the form. The matter being the person confessing their sins, the form being the words of the absolution from the priest. It is also required that it be in person as a matter of protecting the anonymity of the one who attends. You know, if you did it over Zoom, you don't know if someone is hacking and watching or recording, or if there isn't someone just in the room on the other side of the camera. So you're off work for the rest of the week. Nice. Taking some vacation? Hey, Tiber Swimmer. Appreciate the drive-through confessions. Yes. Yes, those were very helpful and critical. Oh, you get Juneteenth off and then you took Friday's vacation. Nice. Oh, your mom's coming to visit. Fun. Oh, and I meant to mention this at the start of the top of the show, but thank you to Chiefs Bruh and Sunshine Faith for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Hope you both have a great time. Whoosh. Ow, my face. USCP also know the risk. Seal can. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I was talking about when saying, you don't know if it's been hacked or being watched or whatever. That's weird. Because, oh, my zoom function's not working all of a sudden. Yeah, no, everything lines up. Oh, also off camera, I moved all these over because they were wrong. You cut out. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying, I was agreeing with you and saying, yeah, that's what I was kind of referencing when saying, you know, you don't know who else is in the room when it's digital. Did we get Irby at Orbeed recently? We got Irby at Orbeed twice. By the actually 3 times in a fairly short period, because Pope Francis gave an Irby et Orbi blessing at Easter, and then there's an Irby et Orbi at the election, and then there's an Irby et Orbi at the installation. Appreciate it. Tweak something, not really sure. Several amount of pain. Oh, sorry to hear that, Britt. Prayers indeed for your healing. And whatever it is, it'll just be resolved quickly and go away. Oh, look at the new moon. Whee! Ow! Ow! I'm terrible at using my Elytra. I will not be at the Catholic Media Conference this year. It just wasn't in the cards. I was traveling too much on either side of it, and had some really good sessions at it last year, though, so I hope they have good ones this year. You're going for the first time? Hey, have fun. If Sister Nancy Usselman is giving any of the breakout session talks, I highly recommend them. She's a fantastic speaker, super insightful, and just a lot of fun. Okay, I don't need to fill up this section quite the same way. So I can just put a torch there, and that'll be fine. Any Busted Halo peeps? Yeah, my coworker Alethea will be there. It will also be her first time. We always try to send at least one person to represent us, especially because of the awards dinner. I tried entering Let Us Play, but it didn't really quite fit into any of the categories they have, so it's like, Hey, Step Zero. Thank you for the gifted sub to Archangel Pone. You know, if you gift subs or give bits, you earn channel points. I'm just saying, it is a way to both help me and cause my suffering, as it helps you get closer to a candy spin. Best Catholic streamers category. Look, the categories of the Catholic Media Awards Association are good, but they're kind of stuck in a bit of an older mentality. You know, you can pay for bits and subs with Google Play credit? I did not. I'm also not surprised. I know that if you do it on something like Google or the Apple Store, it will cost you more because they're taking a cut, but, you know, they're allowed. Best podcast. It's not really a podcast in the way they describe it. It's a little frustrating. It's like I don't know how to categorize this. Best rate. It's not a radio show. I appreciate the efforts, but you can also gamble your channel points in Father Evan's productivity. You can indeed. And I do see Gail, you've redeemed a father joke. You know, I heard there was this this race being held between Sweden and Finland. You know, and it was going to go between physically each of the countries, and it was going to be really exciting. But then all of a sudden, Finland decided to close its borders, which is weird because then no one could finish the race. Bob's got my back. Man, I wish I could make Glitch an animated emotes, but I cannot find a website that will make an image into a glitched GIF easily or in the way that I want. And I'm not skilled enough as an animator to do it on my own in something like Adobe or whatever. Oh well, can't do it all. I just want to put down some torches real quickly before I forget, lest I come back here at some point and be surprised by a creeper. Just consecrate the building. Can't do that in Minecraft. Or it's just going to take a lot of carpet, and I don't feel like doing that. Plus, I'm consecrating it to the light. Surely Minecraft recognizes spiritual authority. I got some bad news, Bob. How many more of the... Ooh, I'm burning through this quickly. I made 16 stacks. I was kind of hoping that would be enough. It might be enough for the roof, but not the back wall. But that's okay. Can't turn your priest mode on, be able to bless things? I mean, not quite in the way that would stop a creeper from appearing. I should probably torch up the roof at some point too, but then again, I don't torch up the roof of the church, so it's fine. How many stacks do I have left? Ooh, only 5. I may not have enough for the roof right now. Okay, but that is the roof finished in the theater area. Godfather hasn't torched the roof of his church. Yeah, it's not a great look. How will you finish today? By making more concrete? Look, I'm only 20-ish minutes into actively streaming. Your 30 minutes of prediction hasn't even closed. I didn't know you could do a prediction that long. And this... Okay, so it extends there and it extends all the way into that. And then it's just 2 up to that. Okay. Burkadoo. Both species of the Eucharist provide blood, soul, and divinity. Why, when elevating them, do we make the distinction the body and the blood of Christ? Don't we have a more encompassing term? So, in the Byzantine tradition and in the older form of the Tridentine Rite, there was actually something different said. In the Byzantine tradition, it says, I forget exactly how it's worded. If Brayherd is here, he could definitely correct me on it. But it's essentially that the body and blood leads you to eternal life. That's not right. But it is a confession of the substance that you, not the substance, the accident that you immediately see. Is how I would define it. It's why you can. It's why even when you bring. Heard my name, Ben. I was playing stuff. Say again. I was talking about the prayer that the priest says in the Byzantine Rite when you receive communion. But when you do like taking Eucharist communion to the sick, that's intriguing. You do say both the body and the blood of Christ. Yeah, the servant of God partakes the precious and all holy body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ to save for the remission of sins and for life everlasting. Amen. Yeah, it doesn't just quite roll off the tongue, but... Wish my Zoom function's still... Maybe it sounds better in Greek. I don't know if I've heard it in Greek. Handmaiden of God. I haven't heard that terminology used before. I like that, though. That's cool. These don't need to be stairs. Figure it had something to do with the accidents, but I've always wondered about it. Yeah, it's a good question. Okay, so it is just 2 out, and then it's the quartz. Well, I suppose that makes sense why I haven't heard it then Bray heard. Yes, each time. It helps that the style of reception in Byzantine rites is a little slower and you know, it takes a while to get situated. You know, it's not quite as quick as putting out your hand. And it depends on how each place distributes it, too. There are variations. Let's break the correct quartz piece. So I just did those in quartz slabs. Basically, I have 2 quartz slabs, and then they are fully covered by stairs around them. Why is that not right? Oh, because it only goes up 2. That's why. I took it up 3. So it's prudential judgments. The West typically added gestures to the canon to emphasize the real presence rather than the words administration. Yeah. That is a good insight and way to talk about it. Gonna have to come in with a lot of torches and whatnot to light it up in here, but fun fact, anaphora literally means elevation. Does that mean fora means putting down? See, it's kind of funny because in Greek, the an suffix or prefix means negative or not. So, if you remove that from anaphora, you get aphora. So, you know. Anyway. We have our stairwells. I'm going to put away anything quartz and diorite right now. Done with those. You might be thinking anamnesis or anamnesis, which means unforgetting. Oh, we haven't looked inside the theater area ever since we actually closed it off. Let's do that real quickly. Well, a zombie spawned somewhere. Nice. I might put a light up in the dome somewhere so you can see it a little better, but generally, I'm pretty happy with how this space turned out. Let's see where that zombie is. Oh, there he is. Now, we're not necessarily done with the Opera House right as soon as we're done with this, because there's still some interior work I want to do for decoration, but I'm also willing to take a break and work on another project for a bit before going back to that. Well, maybe it does have multiple meanings. Or maybe Brayherd was wrong. Which is possible. It's possible for all of us to be wrong. We're human. No! I'm out of concrete. No, we actually almost finished the roof with what we had. Give me your normal shovel. And I have enough sand. Do we have more bone blocks somewhere, though? Not. The priest or deacon will ask for their name. Really? Oh, wow. Is that just what they do at St. Mary's? Because I have been to Byzantine liturgies where they don't do that. Or they just skip over someone's name. See, that's the kind of color we're going for. Consistent verdigris on everything. It's just gonna take time. So I think in my sandstone mine, there are some gravel pockets that I could grab pretty easily. I mean, I've already grabbed one. Ah, Bob's got the answer. Means lifting up in a liturgical sense. The other is a valid meaning in other senses. Master your name at multiple parishes. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Canon law professor drive you insane. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the professor part would make it better. Wow, I was seriously expecting more gravel down here. Really, Orthodox canon law is Byzantine. I'm not a canon law, like, expert by any means, or professor or anything, but I will say this. I do appreciate that Roman canon law is, well, very Roman. By that meaning it has a very systematic and sort of linear progression. Nobody else has ever made that joke before. No, Brayherd. No, they have not. You are the first in all the world. Of course, I mean, individual canons have always kind of had that Roman quality, but the combined nature of it all into one code wasn't a thing really until 1917. That was the first universal code of canon law. Previous to that, my canon law professor explained it to us as like, yeah, you used to have to be looking at like decrees from councils and like letters and just all sorts of sources. And of course, to talk about history and precedents and roles of things in canon law now, they still do that. So I think if you're a doctor of canon law in the Roman Church, also how liturgical norms feel now, yeah. I didn't know Sea Pickles glowed. We're gonna go crash at Step Zero's place. Nope, that's the chapel. Where's the door? Where's the door? Where's the door? There's the door. Minecraft! Hello, Bree. Knew I should have set up a spare bed. It's all good. The monastery's still getting established. But, you know, the hospitality was extended nonetheless. What's a monastic retreat without guest quarters? Camaldoli. No, not Camaldoli's. Carthusian. Carthusian monks are the ones who actually take a vow of silence, and they do not accept guests. So sometimes they'll have folks be like, "Oh, you're monks. You have hospitality. Welcome us." And they're like, "We're not Benedictines." But they do make alcohol, specifically chartreuse. And they invented the color. Yeah, that's getting too deep and too difficult to get. They are very secretive of that beverage. Well, you know, if I had the recipe for a multiple centuries old beverage that was one of a kind, I'd probably be pretty secretive too. Trappists do make good beer. In fact, they make the best beer, objectively. Westfieterland 12 is considered the best beer in the world and is brewed by Trappists in Belgium. I've had Westfederlin 12. It is very good. You have also had the pleasure of enjoying a Westfederlin 12. Very nice. It does drink like a wine. Can't say I've had Buckfast tonic wine, but now I'm curious. It's also crazy how you get your hands on Westfederlin 12, because you have to call up the monastery to see if you're allowed to get any. And then if you are, you show up, and they tell you when to show up, and you just show up at the gate of the monastery, and then they tell you how much you are paying, and they will give you the amount of beer they think you should receive. It's not like you call them up and like, hey, can I get 2 cases, or can I get this, or... It's like, nope, I'd like some beer. Cool. You will get 1 6-pack. Cool, you'll get 2 bottles. Okay, that should be enough. How do they decide? That's a great question. I think it depends on what mood the master of the beer is in. We also know that breweries were very important in the medieval monastic era as a way of offering hospitality and caring for the monastery. There were plans for a monastery. It was never actually built, but we still have the plans. And it has not 1, not 2, but 4 breweries. That is not going to be enough. I need more white dye. I really not have any more bone blocks. I'm gonna have to go get some. Dang it. Westmalle and Chimay. Hey, those are great ones. Is St. Bernardus about 12 similar in taste? I don't know. I've never had that one. Yeah, Westfederlin and Chimay are both very good. I recommend if you like IPAs, you'll probably like Orval. They only make 1 style, which is the triple. Roquefort. I haven't thought of comparing the two, and it's been so long since I've had a Roquefort. There's no bone blocks up here. Okay, so that's the way home. Why am I leaning like that's gonna help? Ah, bone. Excuse me, skeleton. I'm just trying to harvest this bone, but if you want to offer some more... Okay, that'll absolutely make enough dye. So gotta come down this way, and then up through this way, and then it should be right there. Take off every zig. I have so much flint. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Now it's time for something truly exciting. Are you ready for this, Twitch chat? We get to make concrete. The bitrate's gonna love this. We're going in a new direction by doing nothing at all. So how you doing today, Twitch chat? Hopping into meetings for an hour! Someone will probably need to decide the prediction. I think I could do that. I believe in me. Right? Just have to... on the keyboard. That's true. Right, Herd and Sipsir are also here, and our mods. But if they jambled, they can't end the prediction. Oh, they didn't jamble. Okay. See, this is why I try to do this off camera. But I technically succeeded. I mean, I made 16 stacks. We did it. We survived. Why does it look like you just keep beating up the wall? Because I basically am. Because what I'm doing is, so when you make concrete, it's powder. And to make it solid, you have to touch it to water. And so what I'm doing there is I'm placing it up against a water block. And then I'm breaking it so that I can pick it up and take it elsewhere. I'm doing, and then I replace it with another powder one so that it solidifies, and it happens so quickly that it does look like I'm just punching the wall. Because like I'm replacing one in the machine as soon as the other one's broken. Okay, that is the roof. Now all we have to do is this back wall. Again, I bet the bit rate's loving that brick right there. How many do I have? This is gonna be a close one. You heard once that artists used to intentionally leave a mistake in their art, well, as only God is perfect. Yeah, that is a way that some artists have intentionally done, like they've intentionally left something as kind of a implicit way of honoring God. Your Eve has 6 toes? That's 4 less toes than normal. Pretty sure this is... Okay, we have one more stack. We are not going to be able to finish this with what we have, but we're very close. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 layers to build. Course is not completed, so gamblers who voted no should win. Well, the day's not over yet. Still have like an hour of streaming. Compromise. No. You can't compromise in gambling. Rotata. When you pray, do not pray like the hypocrites. When you give, do not give like the hypocrites. Jesus is basically calling us to a more internal way of doing things. It doesn't mean you can't ever be publicly acknowledged and you can't ever talk about it or pray publicly or together. I mean, if we couldn't pray publicly, how would we have, you know, mass? But he's definitely calling us to the internal, oh shoot, I forgot my good shovel. I forgot the good spoon. He's calling us to look at the reasons why we do the things we do. Intention matters. Are we doing a church tour? Not really. Because this is an opera house. And I'm just coming back this way because I forgot my good spoon. So I can get gravel so I can finish the back wall of the Opera House finally. We're almost actually done with the exterior portion. The dome looked churchy. It does. It does. But if you... And also with the white squareness of it. But it has 3 domes, in fact. Because it has 1 in the theater area and 2 in the lobby. Can't really see the dome on the inside, but... What is this? No, you don't belong there. You found a lot, but Tish. If you do good unintentionally, does it still count as a good deed? Well, it's not a deed. A deed, by definition, requires that it be done intentionally. You were still doing good, but I don't think it's a good deed. If you do good for the wrong reason, is it good or bad? I mean, there's still a good outcome, but that does not... The ends do not justify the means. Was discussing with someone recently. Someone commits grave sin, which doesn't meet the requirements for mortal sin. Do they still have to go to confession before receiving communion because it's grave? No, they're still able to receive. It's just that one of the requirements for it to be a mortal sin is that it must be of grave matter. So we have what we call grave sins to say, hey, this one could be a mortal sin by its very nature. Doesn't necessarily mean that it always is. Yeah, that's one where the language kind of feels like, but it's grave. It's like, well, yes, but... Grave and mortal are not automatically synonymous. They often overlap, but... Come to me. Let's walk further along this coastline. Maybe we'll find more. Or maybe not. Or maybe I will. Suffering is exalting. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Right, but I guess that's what I'm trying to get at is the impediment only comes from mortal sin. I mean, when in doubt, go to confession. Just Confession's a good thing in general. Oh, whoops. Sorry about that, Exalted. Moobot's a little overprotective sometimes on symbols and things. But I can see the message, and thank you very much. Lab work must away! You take care, Step Zero. There you go. Yeah, I need to tweak Moobot a little bit. He's helpful, but he also should be a little bit like, overprotective. But amen, we always keep trying to keep pushing for holiness, keep trying, keep seeking after Christ. Gonna need a little more sand, so that's why I'm coming back here. Ow, my face. Okay, that should be enough sand and gravel. Because if I can make, I'd say 8 stacks, then I should be good. Well, you have to go... There's what's known as the Easter duty, where you're supposed to go to communion once a year. I think part of that is that, well, if you're going to go to communion, you should go to confession, I think is the mindset. Yeah, and it's not necessary. The Easter duty has to be done during the Easter season, but I could be wrong on this. I get the general sense more that the confession can be done outside of Easter, like Lent, but I mean, I think it's a good practice, but you know, it's kind of funny, you know, we talk about the Easter duty. The whole point of the Easter duty was to encourage people in a time when they weren't receiving communion to receive communion at least once a year. Yes, I am beating the wall again because I need more concretized concrete. We have to be getting close. See? Getting close. Take all that. Take all of that. Okay. Oh, a little bit got ejected. Take a moment, let these zombies cool off. Go away, spider. Okay, so it's basically 64 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll still be off by like 1 stack. Do I think I'll finish it? I think so. This is literally the last thing I have to do to consider the Opera House in a complete state. There is more, like I said, there is more interior work I'd like to do in terms of decorating and things, but like, that's, I feel like this is more the, have I completed the physical structure of it? You know, and because consider where we started of, I mean, this used to mostly be just a river. And then we built the cistern, and then we built the base, and then we had to build up the stage area. We built it in a very strange way, which ultimately makes sense, but like, I kind of built the details first and then the framing around it. Don't know why it isn't giving you the little badge. I see it. You might have to refresh. Sometimes that it won't appear until you do that. Oh, maybe we will finish. Maybe I will have enough. I'm off by 3. That is so frustrating. To be so close. Oh no, it's the wrong shovel. That shovel won't help me. It do me looking mighty fine in the distance, though. The next major project is going to be sorting, so I don't really care where I put some of these things. Is this the same world as your church? Yeah. Yeah, you can see the spires right there. Yeah, I would not want to build all of this in a new world, because that would require getting all of the tools again, because... it just takes... That's always the worst part about starting a new server in Minecraft to me, is like, oh, I don't have diamond tools with mending. I literally just need 4. Because if I have 4 gravel, 4 sand, and 1 dye, I can make 8 blocks. That doesn't math right. What do you mean? 4 and 4 makes 8. Plus it's colored. That's not... Well, the color piece doesn't add anything to the physical structure. It just colors it. Think of it as imbuing the color rather than adding space, because it's 8 blocks combining to make 8 blocks. And we are done. Look at that back. So boring. That's the way it's supposed to be. Boom. So, well, I'm actually going to take a quick break, quick bio break, so we'll be back in about 2 minutes. So don't go anywhere. Get a drink. We'll be right back. All right. We are back. Realize I need... Okay, good. I was like, did I forget to do that wall? Because I'd forgotten to do it over here. I like it. So now we can... well, we can do 2 things. 3 things. We can sleep. We can finish the protection. All right. Choose outcome. Will he finish the Opera House? The answer is yes. Congratulations to... Looks like Bad Roxy, Britt, and someone else. I can't actually see the names. But congratulations. Thank you for having faith. Now what I want to do is... we're not going to finish the interior today, but that's okay. I'm going to put that off as my not my next project, but the one after. Because the next major project, and I know this isn't going to be exciting, but it's necessary, is reorganizing storage. But for the rest of today, what I want to do is go around with lanterns and hang them in strategic places. Where are all my lanterns? I thought I had more. I voted no because I thought it meant inside as well. Compromise? I can't give channel points away. Even if I wanted to, I can't. It's literally not a thing I can do. Oh, I had a whole stack of white concrete in there, apparently. I thought that was quartz. Candy? Compromise? You voted no. I said we're just gonna work out. We're gonna finish the exterior. You weren't even on screen when I voted. Well, I'm gonna blame Gale then. Meep. You get Meep as compromise. Old school Meep. Still has the ponytail. How about a free joke compromise? That's not how gambling works. Plus, Britt was gracious enough to give you a whole meep. Oh yes, meep right in front of me. Meep to my left, meep to my right, meep in front of me, meep behind me. Charge of the Meep Brigade. I think I want a chain. I need some chains. Can Meep come heal my pain? For legal reasons, I'm gonna say I can neither confirm nor deny. There we go. Now, I know from a lighting perspective, it might make more sense to put the lanterns in the middle, but I kind of started this thing in the lower level hallway where the lanterns are all against the wall. And I kind of like it because I think it provides an interesting visual balance against the windows rather than kind of being in the middle. Aesthetics. I like how this corner turned out when I actually put things in the right spot. But you see, it's that same kind of general pattern. And again, it's lined up with the middle of the windows, I think. Or, no, it's lined up with the pillars down here, but whatever. We'll get to see how it looks with art. On this side. No, my art! My one art. I wasn't sure how that was going to interact, and I chose poorly. Nope. Yeah, it's fine. And it's a different painting, so. I'm probably going to replace a lot of these with lanterns. Oh, I can take these. I can take that out. Because that leads nowhere. Let's see how this looks. I don't think I'm gonna like it, but yeah, I don't like it. I might build like a platform hanging out with chains to hang these by, but for now I'm just going to put them by the door just to provide illumination. I do think the torches can stay on the fountain as a fixture, though. Need all the sticks I can get and some wool. So I need to make some more paintings. Make 6 for now. That's a decent start. And the other thing I had in mind was can finally show you the thing I have had in mind since the beginning of this, where I've been trying to explain it. No, don't go in there. Gonna make it difficult. So what I had in mind was the idea of like the paneling on the wall that's painted on. That will provide some texture to everything. How do I want to do this? Probably want to do this way. Feels like the Pope got elected ages ago, but that was just last month. Yeah, I know, right? Time flies when you're having fun. A lot has happened. I'd like things to stop happening. Regular quartz. Nope, it's the wrong spot. So this is what I've been talking about all this time, chat. When I talk about kind of embossed wall designs, where it looks like, you know, where there's kind of like a painted frame, like right on the wall or something, or like just a raised portion, but it's actually just painted. I feel like you probably, hopefully, know what I'm talking about now as you see this. This is what I want to do on the interior. I might, in fact, I probably will. In fact, let's just do it. I need some more quartz. I have more quartz, so let's go get some. But there's a term for that in decorations, in art, and I just cannot remember what it is. Actually, let's take some white concrete with us. That way we can shape the art. There. Yes, that's what I want. So yeah, that kind of paneling. So then what we're going to do is we need to block off where we want the art to actually be able to spawn in at. Is it rustication? It might be. I'll have to Google to see what that even means. I can do that. I have a phone. Not necessarily rustication, but similar. So what does this give us? This gives us a 2x? I don't want a 2x. I want... I want the painting to at least be 4 tall, so... You see, now by blocking this area off, we should, in theory, be able to control what kind of art spawns in here. Indeed, we can limit what kind of art is spawning, but getting the exact kind that we want. Yeah, it's giving us 2x2s in that corner. It's giving us 3x3s. That's a 3x4. Having a hard time getting what I want out of this painting space. So what if I do that? Hello, my headphones are charged. There we go. I could live with that as the center painting. What you think? I have actually completed the prediction. Congratulations. You won many channel points. Just gonna set time today real quickly. There we go. I wish it was wider, but we just couldn't get anything to spawn that was... And I don't know what the dimensions are limited to in Minecraft, because obviously there's 2x2, there's like 3x1s, 1x1s. I don't know if there's a 5x3. So I'll do some digging and look into that. But if nothing else, I do like this painting because it is centered, at least. And we have the embossing around it that I've been wanting to do for so long. It's going to take more quartz because I also want to do some of that, like here on this wall. That way it will show up. Well, maybe not. I had wanted to do it on this wall, but if I do it too tall, it will clip into this upper space and it'll look kind of odd down here. Hey, you finished your cross-stitch sampler. That's awesome. Maybe that's the only spot I'm going to do that in. Because at least it does add a certain flair to the entryway area. I do need some paintings over here. So I can manually control those this way. You know, I think honestly, other than maybe going around with some fine detail work of like replacing torches with lanterns, I think the opera house is actually done. Like, done. Like, maybe I'll do the embossing thing or treatment around these. But that might not look so good on the inside here. I don't know. I'm kind of happy with it, honestly. Like, I did get to do the one spot, and yeah, it shows up on the inside, but whatever. This is kind of weird. Been working on this project since, like, January. Now we're done. I might try to put some lighting up here just so you can see the details. Oh, the catwalk needs some lighting. That's just a safety thing. And obviously, a major part is going to be waiting for the verdigris of the domes, but that's just got to be a natural time thing in Minecraft. You know, we do already have some gone full verdigris, which is nice. And the more that I just am here and am doing things, the more it will change. But oh, I just found a major flaw. I just found a hole. We have sealed the hole. There, boom. One opera house. I am very pleased with how this turned out. I think a little detail I really like is the crenellation here with the stairs, creating these like little channels. Is there Amontillado in the hole? Oh, there may be a cask of it, though. I love the foyer. I really do. The stage is good. I think I could have done better, but I wound up kind of limited. But I love also the hidden detail. Hey, Squirrelage! Thank you for the 300 bits! Congrats on the completion. Thank you! I love the cistern. I am super proud of this little detail. I love that you can still access it. because there is like the one stairwell that you can take from the, if you come here from the either the booth, or not the booth, the orchestra pit, or from backstage. You can take the stairs down, and then you can go along this channel, and then you can go down and in. And otherwise, the cistern is just like this completely sealed, hidden area. Is Heron still candy? No, that hasn't been a candy for a hot minute since the event in December. I had to take that away because I wasn't sure if that was a cause of it. The event TM, yeah. But I like the posters. I think those are fun. What happened in December? My channel disappeared for a while. For like 3 days. I like the posters. Some of them really feel like, oh yeah, I could see that just hanging in an opera house. Like these two with the bars over them. Celebration spin? Compromise? I was gonna go to mass. That would be good to fast. Oh, that was... I don't know. There were like so many factors and I didn't know. I was told so little that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna play it safe and just... If I think it could have been a factor, I'm gonna just, you know, veto it. So, you know, better safe than sorry. But that's where we're gonna call it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and good to finish the Opera House in full. Anyway, Brain couldn't brain there for a moment. Join us again tomorrow for more Link's Awakening. And then on Monday, gonna be continuing with Birth by Sleep. Tuesday, continuing with Papers, Please. Wednesday, more Minecraft. And there's going to be a bonus stream on Wednesday nights for a while, teaming up with a couple other streamers. Was invited to a team. I think it should be a lot of fun. I'm not going to reveal anything yet. I'm going to wait for the leader of the group to more publicly announce it, I guess. But keep an eye out. It should be fun. I'll give you this teaser. I'm the only human in it. Everyone else is a VTuber. But yeah, so I think that's everything. Thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And why don't we see who's live that we can raid into? Gonna send you on over to Luke. He's a cool dude. He's a Catholic streamer. He's a dad, I think. I'm pretty sure he's a dad. He's got dad energy. But he's a fun guy. He's playing some Fortnite today, just chilling. He's a nice family-friendly guy. So anyway, raid call will be Father Raid as usual. And again, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Hey, the Highlander 20, thank you for the follow. You joined just in time for the raid. See ya.